I'm here with Joe Abercrombie, author of the First Law trilogy and the books Best Served Cold. So Joe, what draws you to writing epic fantasy?
Well, I think one very important thing is that you don't need to do that much research. You can make things up. Early on when I was writing, I needed to get a character thrown out of a window, as you often do. And I was trying to think, how big would the panes of glass be? How strong would the lead be? Would you be able to throw someone through? What's the year? We're talking about 1450. What would the windows be like? And it occurred to me, the windows can be anything you want them to be for the scene to work.
RPGs have had a big influence on your writing. Can you tell me a bit about your past gaming experiences? Any favorite campaigns? Who you like to play?
I'm more of a kind of fighters type of man, I would say. The rules are a lot simpler, so you're free to spend more time talking rubbish and cheating as well, of course. I used to enjoy having the character sheet on a book high up with the dice, and then I would set the dice up in a configuration that I liked, 97, something like that, and then have some other dice which I would roll to give the sound of the rolling, and then show everyone, oh, 97.
There we go.
See? If you're too busy worrying about your spells and everything, you couldn't be doing that. Yeah. But I used to, I think games mastering, I used to games master Warhammer roleplay particularly. And I think that was a really important kind of experience.
So all your stories, usually have an interesting quotation to go along with it. Now, is that quotation usually part of your writing process, something that inspires you? Or did you happen to come across something and think, oh, now that kind of vibes the story I'm writing and it's awesome, I'll just stick it in?
Yeah, I mean, certainly some, more the latter on the whole. Certainly some of the quotations that are in there are things that I've found while I'm reading, like, I'm a big fan of Machiavelli. And reading The Prince, you find all kinds of great quotations to live by, in your life. And so a couple of those are ones that I've run across, and also I've got one of the latest book from Robert E. Howard, which is one that I found while I was reading through some letters of his, or a book of his letters, and it's I'm not sure how much violence and butchery the readers will stand, and that seemed an appropriate one to put into a book. But others are ones that I've just found while Googling on the net and looking through quotation sites for things to make me look clever, and like I've read a lot of interesting books, which is always a good thing, I think, to do.
Now, you also mentioned Machiavelli as being one of your inspirations for your book Best Served Cold.
Yeah.
So, answer me this. Is it better to be loved or feared?
Well, Machiavelli always said it was better to be feared, because it lasts longer, chiefly. It's more reliable. As a writer, you want to be loved by your readers. You need your readers to come back. You want them to buy your next book. So it's important to be loved, but I think you need to be feared a little bit. I think your reader shouldn't feel too comfortable. They shouldn't know exactly what's going to happen. You don't want it to be a warm, cushioned sort of sensation. They should fear that something is going to be around the corner they're not going to like, they're going to be worried by, they're going to be shocked by. So I think it's best to be loved, but you want to be feared just a little bit as well. Why not be both?
Last year, you had an epic literary smackdown with writer Brent Weeks over on the Borders blog.
Yeah.
So, how are things going between you and Brent these days?
I think he was hurt, I can't deny, I think he was deeply wounded. What can I say?
Still recovering?
Still recovering, probably. I haven't heard from him lately, but I've never met Brent, unfortunately, so probably he'll punch me in the face when I next meet him, I don't know.
So your upcoming book, The Heroes, focuses on one battle over the course of 3 days.
Sure.
Now it's different from your First Law trilogy, which had a broader scope. So would you mind talking about any different processes that came about when writing The Heroes?
Epic fantasy deals with war a lot, obviously. The classic thing with epic fantasy is a war between good and evil, and so war's always there. But they tend, epic fantasies, to be very big in terms of scope, in terms of geography, big quests over huge areas of land, and long over time. The changing seasons, they go over years sometimes. And so I wanted to try something that was very focused in time and place, and so I decided to just write about one battle over 3 days and try and bring all the characters together into one place. And I tried to take a lot of different characters and then bring them together, and the result is they overlap a lot and their paths kind of intersect a lot, and you get a lot of interesting trade-offs between your different points of view, and that's all in a way a lot more contracted, and there's more, I think, more interest and excitement sort of packed into a smaller space. Maybe that was the idea anyway.
So do you have anything else in the works that your readers can look forward to?
My last book, Best Served Cold, was kind of a fantasy thriller. It was an attempt to sort of fuse fantasy and thriller bits. The Heroes is a kind of fantasy war story, and so the idea was to do a kind of fantasy western, this next one. So it's again taking some familiar characters from the trilogy and putting them into kind of some Western sort of setting and exploring some of those narrow-eyed standoffs among the cactuses and all those Western sort of themes and ideas a little bit. That's the idea.
Nice.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm a big fan of Westerns, you know.
Well, I look forward to reading that then.
Absolutely. Lovely to meet you. Thank you very much.
Same here. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Hi, my name's Joe Abercrombie, and you can find my books at the Science Fiction Book Club and sfbc.com.